Here to give us their take of all the disruptive things that have happened in our country are the fabulous trio John Colshaw, Lewis MacLeod and Jan Ravens, Dead Ringers.
Welcome to the Disruption Dead Ringers.
You're listening to Today with me, Nick Robinson.
And me, Sarah Montague. The headlines. The government says it can't justify a new royal yacht, saying it would be too expensive for something that was in service only a few weeks a year. It also confirmed it was decommissioning Prince Andrew.
Hillary Clinton collapsed in New York. One onlooker said she was on her knees and panting loudly. Bit of a theme for the women in Bill Clinton's life.
Russian hackers have released the medical records of British athletes. This meant embarrassment for Mo Farah, whose bloodstream was found to contain 5 times the safe limit of Quorn.
This year, the natural balance of Britain was disrupted by an event which has had a staggering impact on the country, the full repercussions of which won't be known for years.
But enough about Helen Archer being cleared of murder. There was also Brexit. The Leave campaign was accused of having no plan for the post-Brexit chaos. An angry Boris Johnson made this statement.
That's Bally Tommy Rot. Of course we have a plan. Of course we have a plan. It's the same one Michael Caine uses at the end of The Italian Job. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Michael Gove stabbed Boris in the back and decided to run for leader himself. The biggest moment in Gove's career since he convinced Frodo Baggins to hand over his precious ring.
Scottish nationalist leader Nicola Sturgeon got behind the Remain campaign.
A lot of Brexit voters have some silly misguided notion about wanting their country to be more independent. Where do they get their ideas from?
At one stage, it looked like our next Prime Minister might be the horrifying Andrea Leadsom. Then everyone realised she was actually Alison Steadman, working on a character for a new Mike Leigh film. So the job of Prime Minister went to Theresa May. You're watching a BBC News special. I'm Hugh Edwards, now actually startled instead of just looking startled. This is a special bulletin as Britain prepares to welcome a new Prime Minister in the traditional way by posting anonymous abuse on Twitter. We can now cross live to Theresa May on the steps of number 10.
Do you know that if you're born poor, you will die on average 9 years earlier than others? If you're black, you're treated more harshly by the criminal justice system than if you're white. If you're at a state school, you're less likely to reach the top professions than if you were educated privately. If you're a woman, you will earn less than a man. But I won't go on to list all the achievements of the previous Tory government.
If the Tory leadership contest resembled an episode of Game of Thrones, brutal, bloody, and over in double quick time, the Labour leadership contest resembled an entire series of the Chuckle Brothers. MPs had a vote of no confidence in the disruptive force that is Jeremy Corbyn.
So, Mr. Corbyn, you won the contest, but how do you react to 170 MPs voting against you?
It's very gratifying, Sarah.
Gratifying.
Naturally, I've spent my whole career being disloyal to Labour leaders, Kinnock, Blair, Brown, Miliband. This is very touching. It just goes to show how much I have managed to make the Labour Party in my image.
Jeremy, I'm sorry to digress, but why are you sitting on the floor?
Why do you think? Because there are no seats.
But we just offered you a seat.
Yes, but I want to sit with my wife and she's in Corfu, so that's not going to work, is it?
So, do you actually have enough MPs to form a shadow cabinet?
Well, of course I do. In fact, I've just appointed Nicola Murray as my shadow foreign minister.
Nicola Murray, but she's out of the thick of it.
Just because Nicola is fictional doesn't mean she can't be a valuable member of my team. Delivering radical socialism to British politics. I am very disappointed in your anti-fictional character bias, Sarah. They deserve their moment in the shadow cabinet. Keith Lemon, Top Cat, Fleabag, Honey Monster. Yozza Hughes from Boys from the Black Stuff is going to make a great shadow employment minister. I find fictional characters much better than real people. They're a lot less Jewish for a start, and by that I do not mean anything anti-Semitic.
With MPs rebelling, Corbyn needed trusted, senior Labour figures to back him. But there weren't any, so he settled for Diane Abbott.
Hello, and welcome to This Week. I'm Andrew Neil, the bagpuss of politics. Coming up on the show, we've got a man with a head the shape of Morocco, a dancing turtle who claims to be the reincarnation of Fred Astaire, and Diane Abbott!
Andrew, I really must warn you, have care. As well as my 9 shadow cabinet posts, I'm now also shadow minister for incredulous television introductions.
So that's 10 points, 10 posts indeed and all. How's that possible?
It's quite simple, Andrew. Given that I'm doing all the jobs in the shadow cabinet and going on the Today programme 8 days a week to defend Jeremy, there is actually too much work for one Diane Abbott, so I've been cloned. Jeremy has taken a tiny part of me and made 249 Diane Abbotts. And according to my calculations, that will dwarf the tiny minority of Blairite troublemakers.
Okay, just let me repress a shudder there. Coming up later, we've got a windsurfing wildebeest, a man born with ping-pong balls for eyes, and Diane Abbott. And Diane Abbott. And Diane Abbott.
Disruptive forces also began to turn American politics on its head. Their choice, Hillary Clinton as the first ever female president, or Donald Trump as the last ever president. Trump was joined on the campaign trail by Nigel Farage.
I'm Nigel Farage. No, let me speak. America, you are lucky to have a man like Donald Trump. Donald is a self-made man who went out and worked hard to inherit a fortune. A man so skilled at business, he turned a $500 inheritance, $500 million inheritance into a fortune valued today at $300 million. Barack Obama might be the first man of colour to be president, but Donald Trump will be the first man of every colour, but mostly orange. If you want things to say as they are in the White House, vote crooked Hillary. But if you want to see a Trump White House casino and strip club, first drink on the house, 3-drink minimum, then vote Trump. And please welcome the next President of the United States.
Thank you, Nigel. I gotta say, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's really great to have been joined by a man who has traveled all the way from Great Britain. It's great. That's great, and that's what America should be. America should be great, which is great, really great. Because we can make America great by making it great again. A great country which will be great. And isn't that great? Because I'm great. And guns are great. And really hot women marrying me are great. Because wouldn't that be great? So great being great. I'll tell you what's not great. Brad Pitt hitting his own son. That's not great. He should have shot him. That's great. Making America great. God bless me. It's going to be great.
Thank you very much.